Good to go.
Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Board of Zoning Appeals for Orange Township.
All right, roll call. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Oster?
Yes.
Mr. Shipley?
Yes.
Mr. Trevs?
Yes.
Ms. Sandar?
Yes.
You would just, those in the audience, make sure that your cell phones are turned off, please. And we'd like to have swearing of the witnesses. Anyone who intends to testify, please raise your right hand and be sworn. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony that you give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? State, I do. And when it's your turn to offer testimony, state your full name, address, and affirm that you've been sworn in. Our first variance will be continuation of VA-CU 2115. And by the way, Brett and Jeff, if you would also affirm.
Affirm. I affirm. I don't know what you want covered from, since we heard it last month and the applicant is here.
If the applicant would like to come forward.
Hi,
And state your name and address, please.
Jennifer Bender, 1087 Oak Street, Columbus, Ohio, 43205.
And if you would affirm that you've been sworn in.
Have
Okay. Please, the floor is yours.
are back here today while legal was considering whether or not a non-conforming use could be extended. Sure. We are back here today while
Is that microphone on?
It is.
Is that quiet?
Try again, please.
We are back here today to, we were giving legal an opportunity to consider whether or not a new sign would be considered an extension of a non-conforming use, and it is not. So, I have brought with me an image that shows staggered, and I'd like to point out that this image was supposed to have the pool cover on it. The pool would be covered. This is simply to show height. The full height was 17 foot. That's the one in the back there. That was 213%, I believe, above the allowable 8 foot, which is code. The one in front of that is at 14 foot. That is 175% allowable code. And the shortest one is 12 foot, and that is 150% allowable code. I personally believe that the 12-foot one will, with a larger vehicle, as you can see with the SUV behind it, I think that you still have a visual issue. The owner of the property was very much concerned that putting a sign here was allowable by him only as if it didn't cause a safety issue on his property. So he wanted people to be able to see around the corner here, see what was coming and have a full view of the lot as the people who are perusing in their cars, the car lot that is shared by Crash Champions. I think if we were going to make a concession, it would probably have to be the 14 foot. And so I propose 14-foot version of this sign with a full cover.
It was my understanding that we don't allow pole signs, and you were requesting a monument sign.
The pull cover makes it a monument sign. Jeff, can you show them that sign?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't meet the base requirement. That's not a monument sign.
I believe that was part of the variance, is to make the part of the variance that we were requesting of the use variance was that the base of the sign is smaller than is narrower than the width of the sign.
Base actually has to be as big or bigger than the sign.
That was part of the use variance request. I'm sorry, I take that back. It was the area variance request. Am I right here, Jeff?
Yeah, area variance.
Okay.
You would be asking the requester for a variance for the height, because it's considered a monument sign, and for the width of the base as an area variance.
So in other words, we're kind of getting back to a pole sign that we don't allow.
This is what the sign would be with that cover, which would make it a monument sign. Per legal, this would be considered a monument sign.
With a variance
for
on
the
the base.
Yes, for the width of the base. Not for the type of base, but for the width of the base.
Right.
Our code says it's supposed to be the same.
Well, that's
Width
what
of the
I'm
sign.
saying. Everybody else has had to conform to the base. This would be the first one I know of that would be considered a monument sign without that base footprint, which puts it back really at pole sign.
We had originally wanted a sign. Can you show them the sign that has the Mitsubishi across the street and
We
Crash
know,
Hampton?
yeah. You're talking about the whole big,
That would be considered a monument sign.
yes.
But the owner of the property, the owner of parcel that all three companies sit on, was against having a sign that has a width that would be difficult to see around. He believes that it will create a liability for both himself and the people who are driving, zigzagging through the car lot while they're looking at cars that are for sale at Nissan used cars.
He's got one like that across the street.
It's actually much closer to the street. It's not in the parking lot, and it's actually in an island in between an ingress, egress.
That's what he stated, I believe, at the last meeting, was that his concern was that the sign, if approved, the sign would be actually in the parking lot amongst vehicles traveling around, and he was trying to reduce the visual impairment that the sign, the width, if he had it that wide. So that was different. That's what he said.
That's what he said.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, stated, yes.
I don't know that I agree with that.
Right. That's what it stated.
And he wasn't willing to give up any of his sign or space or anything for this leased vehicle company.
He has his own contracts with Nissan, and one of the things that was proposed was the possibility that one of the Nissan signs could have the sign head off and put a larger sign head of that. Both Crash Champions and Nissan, we discussed this. I don't believe that's right for Orange County or Orange Township, and I'm sorry, and I don't believe it's right for any of the businesses. And I honestly don't believe Nissan will allow it. I am familiar with their brand package. We're not a sign company, but I'm familiar with they're very strict about how they allow their signs to be. Crash Champions is stuck between a rock and a hard.
Well, I mean, like I said, I've used that body shop. They're just taking over Auto Body North. And Auto Body North didn't get to have this either.
Auto Body North had an awning sign that was much larger than what code allows. It had been there for a long time, and you could very well see that sign from the street. The building sign that's proposed for this building is to code. I don't think it's going to be very noticeable from the street. If you There's so much going on in this property that, I mean, there's so many cars. There's so much going on that cars will pass it and they'll be all the way up into these apartment buildings and trying to turn around left across 23 before they get back.
It'll also.
I don't agree with that. Nobody in this day and age takes off to go somewhere based on. Everybody's got a cell phone in their pocket. Everybody
That's
has Google.
That's all I
It
got
tells
here.
them where to go, where to turn. I just don't think that is a very good argument, let me put it that way, or a very strong argument that people are going to need the sign to figure out where they're going and see where they're at.
Part of the challenge that I look at this as well, I mean, if another sign is added in there over and above what's there today, what we're looking at is opening the door to look like Las Vegas. I mean, you can only have so much signage in a given square footage. And it's just adding more and more and more to it. I understand the concern for safety. But again, driving through the parking lot at 3-4 miles an hour, 5 miles an hour, it's not like driving, 45 miles an hour up and down 23.
I question how well they will do without street representation.
How well have they done in the past?
They never.
I mean, we can't control
Right.
that aspect.
That's why I said auto body mowers. I mean, most people that are going to go there, they're going to know that that is the body shop location from before. Whether it's people that's been there insurance wise, I don't know who they are as far as if they're a preferred vendor for anybody. Everybody knows where that body shop is.
And when customers do call or have various conversations, I just about bet a dime to a donut that they're going to say, we're in the Nissan North parking lot.
But we took over the old auto body north location.
Because Nissan has been established for a very long time, so you have that advantage of taking the brand.
Is there anything you'd like to add, ma'am?
No, I don't think so.
Any other comments from the board? Questions? Sandar?
No.
Okay. Go through. Chippy?
No, I think that, there's a good discussion last meeting, and the main issue we were waiting on was the legal piece. Yeah, I don't know anything else.
I mean, if Orange Townships wants to work with all of its businesses, but in the same vein, we have to abide by the rules, guidelines, and policies that have been implemented for Orange Township and for the county. And, with the large signage that you want to put in there, it makes it challenging for us, very challenging.
That's what it looked like before when we did it on. So those the same signs as that?
Which signs?
These signs.
Yes.
Yep. I think he's got 4 of those that go down in the front.
The awning has been removed from the building. And that's closer to what the building looks like right now. There is a sign that will go in that's sort of a pink area at this point. It's up 15 feet high, and I don't recall how it's to code, whatever it is, but I don't recall how large it is.
It's high enough to be above the vehicles that are sitting in the lot.
It is above the vehicles that are sitting there.
You care to make a motion? Anybody want to make a motion for or against? Either way. I'll second that.
Do you need more detail or?
We would want on the findings of fact.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for your time, people.
Can I give it to you by the numbers, or you want me to read text?
Since there's 3 actually requests, we would probably want 3 motions.
Oh, I can make the
Or
first one.
you can make one for, if it's gonna deny all 3, then I guess you can make one motion to deny all 3.
We denied the first one, I thought, well, at least one of them wouldn't be.
Right.
One motion should cover all 3, since all 3 are being denied, predicated, whether it be a use variance,
Area variance.
or an area variance.
Well, it's an area variance, but yeah, so we would want the basis of fact of why you're making the motion to deny.
The height,
One
the area.
Yeah. I just want to make sure I
Oh.
had. The VA 2115 variance request for the sign base, that would be the first one, right?
Yeah, you can do just the variance, and then we would need one for the conditional use. We can do it all together.
Whether the property in question would yield a reasonable return, yes, I think it would, which is one of the negatives coming at. Whether the variance is substantial, it is in all cases, so that's a negative. Whether the essential character of the neighborhood would be changed, that's kind of a toss-up in my mind, so 3 and 4 didn't go negative, but 5 and 6 went negative again, which are property owning purchased with the knowledge of the zoning restriction, and the property owner's predicament can feasibly be oblivion. Thank you. Good reading. For some method other than the variance, and then whether it was in the spirit of the zoning requirement, again, that's questionable, but I could put it in the positive category. So that gave me 4 negatives and 3 positives. That's why I moved.
I agree, and I would also point to that there was a body shop there with signage that was just on the sides of the building there that worked.
Yeah.
And just because the owner is changing didn't hold a lot of weight with.
Do you need the next one also?
No, I think we'll be good.
Okay.
That covers all of it. We had a motion to deny made by Mr. Krebs for variance case VA-CU-21-15, based on 4 of the 7 Duncan versus Middlefield factors not complying. Seconded by Mr. Oster. Those voting, Mr. Oster,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
Mr. Krebs,
Yes.
Ms. Sundar.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Second item would be VA 21-16. Is the applicant here? If you would provide your name.
Want me to provide the staff report first?
Yes.
Yes.
Alright, so we have variance case VA-21-16. The applicant owner is Joseph Suarez. The site is 7840 Overland Trail, Delaware, Ohio 43015. Parcel ID number is 318-233-05-012-000. That's zone single family plan residential district. They're requesting an area variance from rezoning case 10745 North Orange for replacement of the existing patio that encroaches the side and rear setbacks. The applicant is requesting for a residential patio that encroaches 7 feet 6 inches into the 12 feet 6 inch side yard setback and encroaches 31 feet into the 35-foot rear yard setback. The property is located west of Overland Trail. The site is currently owned by the applicant Joseph Suarez. A little bit of history of the patio. We received a complaint regarding the construction of a retaining wall at this property. Staff contacted other entities, including Delaware County Building and Safety Department, Delaware County Soil and Water Department, and the EPA regarding the retaining wall. All of the entities stated it was not a structure and they had no concerns with it. Since it does not meet the zoning definition of a structure, there was no violation for the retaining wall. We then received a complaint about a concrete patio being constructed within the retaining wall location. Upon review, we witnessed the concrete patio and started a violation due to no zoning permit filed with the township. We received a call and an email from the property owner regarding the violation. A letter stating that there has been a patio on the site since before he bought it in 2016. Upon review of the property, we had found a new build residential permit approved in 2005, which does not show a patio on the plans. However, looking at the Delaware County Auditor site, there's been a patio and retaining wall on the property since 2006, as there are no images available from 2005. We researched zoning records and could not find any permits for this patio from 2005 to present, which is why the violation was started. We contacted the Delaware County Building and Safety Department, and they have no issues with the concrete patio, and they stated that they did not require a permit for it. The surrounding areas, it's all zoned single family plan residential district. To the north is open space owned by the HOA, and then a single family residence. South is Quarter Way, and then a single family residence across that. To the east is Overland Trail, and then a single family residence. To the west is a single family residence. We provided you with a zoomed out aerial of the site, and then we also provided with the zoomed in aerial of the site. The staff review variance request number 1 is the rear yard setback area variance from rezoning case 10745 North Orange SFPRD. The rear yard setback is 35 feet. The proposed patio would encroach 31 feet into the 35 feet rear yard setback. This is roughly an 89% variance request from the rezoning case. Then Exhibit 1 is the site plan showing the proposed patio dimensions. And then Exhibit 2 are some site photos. The cone marks the corner of the property, roughly. And there's some site photos showing the deck. For the patio, I guess, not the deck, sorry. And if you want, we can go on to the second variance request, or we can just look at that one, or if you want both, and then we can discuss it.
I have a quick question. It's noted here that there's you said an 89% variance request. And in the board analysis, it states that there's a 60% request.
That's for request 2.
Okay, that's all right. I see it. Yeah.
I have just a clarification question. The patio concrete that is shown next to the retaining wall in the picture, is that the new one or the old one?
That's the new one. The old one was plain concrete, and this is colored stamped concrete.
Okay. Sir,
Yes.
I'm sorry, wait, could you state your name and address?
Oh, sorry.
please, in the front?
Joseph William Suarez, 7840 Overland Trail, Delaware, Ohio, 43015.
Thank you. In your firm? Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
Oh, that's right.
I just wanted to make sure that, so everything we have in here is completely done.
Obviously, landscaping is not done. Yeah, but the patio's done.
Okay. And can you give me a dimension on the width between the patio and the inside of the retaining wall, roughly?
On the inside, it's 3 feet. It's 3 feet all the way around for a flower
Okay.
bed.
Without having something to judge, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I made it all the same all the way around.
And just so I understand, you said existing patio.
There has been a patio on this site since at least 2006.
2006, right? The same size?
It was a little bit smaller than this one.
What's a little bit?
That one was, I think it was roughly 20 wide, 25 long, but it was pushed away from the house because mine goes against the house.
Okay.
This one does and comes out. So it was a little bit further out. And then I just made the retaining wall a little bit bigger to extend it just a little bit longer.
So the retaining wall is new with the patio.
Well, there was already partial retaining wall, and I just added to make it just a little bit longer. But the previous owner already put a retaining wall in.
And that was there when you purchased the home?
Yes, in 2016.
Yeah.
And did it have a footer or not?
I never dug down I don't know, I can dig
It
down.
doesn't look like
It
it.
doesn't have a footer.
There's a picture of it in there. It looks like it's just a timbered.
Which is the primary reason it's not considered a structure.
Right. They just did that to get the level, I think.
That's why I was asking the question, had there been a footer, it should have been a structure. Okay.
Mr. Beard, if you could back up to the overhead, where does it show the patio on here in the first place?
It
Because
doesn't
it doesn't show.
Yeah.
a patio ever.
Can you zoom that in, please?
I can in a minute. Not off that.
I actually have a photo of that same thing if you need to look at it like a legit photo of it.
Yeah, that'd be nice because
Okay.
these photos that are in here, if you can't see that there was anything there.
Yeah, let me pull that up.
If you do provide that photo, we would need to keep that as an exhibit.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
It's saved on my computer.
Jeff, do you have any, letter or something from approval, HOA?
Yeah,
Yes.
in the application there was a letter of approval from the HOA.
The complaint be received from the neighbors?
It was anonymous. I'm not sure.
Was that on both complaints from both patio and the retaining wall?
Originally, it was the retaining wall, and at that time the patio wasn't there, so there was no violation with the retaining wall after reviewing it and taking pictures and providing it to all those entities, and then the patio was installed, and and then we got another complaint about the patio.
This shows the patio?
Yeah, it's in there. If you might have to look at it on a computer and zoom in that way, because when you get on like the computer,
Well,
you'll
isn't
see
it back here in this corner?
Yeah, it's in the same location.
I don't see anything there in this photo.
Oh, thank you.
as far as prior existing. It's kind of like this photo, and it's zoomed in a little bit. But from this HOA layout, line art, man, it looks like you're, how far are you from the line there in the other people's property line?
Well, there's no one directly behind them. To the side or behind?
Yeah, to the side. He's right beside this house
West,
here.
towards west.
Yeah,
That's the real issue. The back, yeah, that's a wooded area.
Yeah, but even at that, it's 4
It-
feet from the
it-
property line.
Exactly.
yeah,
That's,
That is concerning too, but I mean, that's less than, you know, with the built beside him.
the side is 5 feet from property line if you are counting just the concrete, not the retaining wall.
So from the edge of the patio
Yeah,
to the property line is 5 feet.
yes, to my neighbor. That's correct. And the rear would be 4.4.
Mm-hmm.
on a different picture, I'm looking, what is the height of the retaining wall? That would be looking out the back, the right back corner.
Oh, you mean beside my neighbor's house?
No, on the opposite side.
Oh, the wood side?
Yeah,
I think it's around 5 feet.
okay.
So your retaining wall, is it right on your line?
No, the back's in, it's in from the property line, because the HOA said I had to make sure that it was not encroaching into their property. So I kept it in, it's about a foot in from the back, and from the side, it's about the same in a little bit.
So the retaining wall's a foot in?
Yeah, so I
basically.
made sure, because I didn't want to get in anyone's property lines. And I just, with the side of my neighbors, I just went straight. I just followed the old one that was there pre-existing
Mm-hmm.
with that one to make sure I was in line where I needed to be. And there was a property stake actually there from the builder from 2005. So it gave me, I was able to actually see it. They saw the stake too. It's been there since 2005, the stake. So that actually helped me do this, make sure I stay within my boundaries.
So Jeff, could you state that again when they went out to look at this retaining portion? That was all okay with them, that could be that close to the lines?
Yes.
Okay.
Because
Because basically, I'm sure it was just being used to level out the yard so it could be used for a patio, nice flat patio. And really, in my opinion, you know, most of what do I want to say, the visual and the look from the neighbor or whatever is going to be that retaining wall. Really not the patio that's up here and now flat on the top of that.
It wasn't that they would have said that they were okay with that being that close to the property line. They were saying that it wasn't a structure, so that wasn't a concern of theirs. That wasn't something that they would
correct.
need any type of requirement for.
And we reached out to Soil and Water and EPA because of that creek back there. If there was an easement or anything that was encroaching. And they both said there was no issues. They had no issues with it. It was a retaining wall. It wasn't a structure, and the building department said the same thing. It was not a structure.
Right.
So they had no issues with it. And then we received the second complaint when the patio was installed. But then when we started looking, there's been a patio there since 2006. But the auditor side, it's hard to tell the size of it. Like there's a photo here. You can see the retaining walls in some of them. You can see the patio in some of them. Then other ones you can't because of the leaves and stuff on the trees, depending on what time of the image is.
Mm-hmm.
But there has been a patio there since 2006. And there are other properties in that neighborhood that are probably in the same boat that we are investigating.
In regard to the retaining wall or the retaining wall and or patio?
Patios, other structures that are in the setbacks, that could be in the setbacks. So, we found some that had their original house permit was approved, and then the final compliance was approved with the patio on it. That wasn't on the original permit, and that are in the setbacks. But we have to be able to see it from the right of way to be able to enforce things. So,
Is that within the same type of time frame?
yeah, most of them. Yeah, most of these houses were built around the same time. And the building department said that they don't consider that the patio as a structure, so they had no concerns with the patio.
Yeah, but the patio, if the patio is a concrete patio, then it is considered a permanent structure. The
No,
retaining wall,
For zoning,
concrete is, yeah,
for
concrete.
for zoning, the way our zoning code definition is, it would be considered a structure under zoning, but under the building department, under the building code, it is not a structure.
The only issue at question is the patio itself
Correct.
for Orange Township zoning.
Correct.
So the retaining wall has no, is not a discussion item, I guess.
So, and we've had discussions with the EPA and soil and water, and they have no concerns with the location or anything with that patio or with the creek there.
well, I don't have an issue with the retaining wall. Because it's not of concrete, it's of timber. It's not considered a permanent structure per se.
I think it's more permanent than the patio, actually, because it is holding all the earth in place to make that backyard possible.
What was
Okay.
what was the patio made of before? What was the?
It was concrete.
It was
It just
concrete.
wasn't decorative stamped concrete, which is like the new trend right now.
It was just
Yeah.
It
poured
was just,
concrete.
just it was concrete. It was cracked, and
So you busted that up and
yeah,
okay.
got rid of it. And with my yard, if you were to see, I think they took some pictures of the angle. My yard basically is my house and goes straight down into the woods.
Yeah.
So I don't really have like living space like normal people. I don't have like I can't put a swing set back there. If I want to put a kiddie pool out there for my kids,
Yeah.
I would have to use that patio. So the thing is, the patio is like my only like true living space for me to be able to actually use my backyard. I have probably one of the worst lots, honestly, to tell you the truth.
I get you,
Yeah.
because, in my area, they tell you, oh, you can't change the grade at all. And that's exactly what you did, get you more yard, which
Yeah, mine's just
I
basically.
find acceptable, because what are you gonna do with?
I can't. Yeah, I don't. I have woods, a creek, and a hill. That's all I
and
got.
if they're okay with your retaining wall not being a structure, I kind of think, in my opinion, that's kind of a saving feature, saving grace on this deal, because it's a built-up area, pretty high. How high is that? From
The
the next
back,
lot.
the back in the woods is 5 feet.
5
So
foot
it kind of
high.
it goes with the grade. So
Right.
it's smaller on my neighbor's side, and it kind of just goes down in the woods with the grade.
Any other questions or comments, Ms. Sindar?
No.
Jones?
Not really. I mean,
Ms. Shippey? I'll make a motion to approve both entities, and my basis is twofold. One, it's replacing and upgrading the existing structures based on both the retaining wall and the patio. It's to enhance, beautify, and protect it.
I would second that. Just making use of what it's got.
I think it's also important to state that there was a patio there.
Correct.
Significant.
It's a replacement.
It is a replacement, and because of the 89%, it's a significant variance. Part of probably for me anyway, is because that was already existing patio there of the same material. They
And
stamped this one,
retaining wall.
right, and retaining, right. Yeah, so.
But in the future, I tell you, if you go to move and you go somewhere else or anybody else, you should always check that kind of stuff before you buy something, because you're going to inherit
Yeah,
possibly somebody's problem that they didn't get approved.
I didn't. My last house, I built it when I was younger, and so obviously I didn't have to worry about that. And I didn't even think about it. I saw a patio there, and I was just replacing it. I honestly didn't.
It's very common.
Yeah.
That's your saving grace. That you
Well, my next
right,
house,
upgrade and
Yeah.
replacing.
Yeah, well, you know, it both had the retaining wall and the patio, and as far as I'm concerned, the look and the optical of the whole thing is the retaining wall, not the patio. And what it, you know, and you're lucky it's 5 foot tall off the ground. In my opinion, I mean, you know, it's just,
you can't really see it that much in the summer. It's just because it's winter. Usually, most of it's pretty hidden. And then, so right now, obviously, you can see it plain as day.
Alright. We have a motion to approve variance case VA-21-16 for both requests for the setback and the rear yard setback. To have a new setback of 34 feet. And then for the side yard setback, it will be, will encroach 7.5 feet. It'll be 5 feet setback. Made by Mr. Miller, second by Mr. Oster. Those voting, Mr. Oster,
yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
Mr. Trevs,
Yes.
Ms. Sandar.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Enjoy.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Get them kids a swing set.
Yeah.
Next application is VA 2117.
All right, the next case is variance case VA-21-17. The applicant is Jacob Messnat from Landscape Design Solutions. The owners are Kipling and Renee Frost. The site is 1800 Little Bear Loop. The parcel ID is 318-314-19006-000. Zone single family plan residential district. They are seeking an area variance from rezoning case 18609 Little Bear Village for a structure that encroaches the rear yard setback. The applicant there requesting to allow a pergola to encroach 14 feet 9 inches into the 35-foot rear yard setback. The subject property is located on the west of Little Bear Loop. The site is currently owned by Kipling and Renee Frost. Once again, they're asking for 14 feet 9 inch into the setback. To the north is single family plan residential district, a single family residence. To the south is single family plan residential district with another single family residence. To the east is also a single family plan residential district. It's Little Bear Loop and then a single family residence. To the west is also zone single family plan district, and that is the golf course to the west of his property. We provided a zoomed out aerial of the site, and then also a zoomed in aerial of the site. For the staff review, the area variance from rezoning case 18609 Little Bear Village, rear yard setback is 35 feet. The proposed pergola would encroach 14 feet 9 inches into the 35 feet rear yard setback. This is roughly a 42% variance request from rezoning case. Exhibit 1 is the site plan showing the proposed pergola dimensions and setback distance. And then Exhibit 2 is site photos, the cone marks, the corner of where the pergola will be. That is all I have, and the property owner is here. If the board has questions or if I need to swear him in because he was not
Yes.
here.
Go ahead and state your name and address.
To the microphone.
Oh, we need to swear you in first, sir.
I don't swear.
He snuck in on us.
Yeah. Anyone who intends to testify, please raise your right hand and be sworn. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? State, I do, and when you're ready to offer testimony, state your full name, address, and affirm that you've been sworn in.
I do. Kip Frost, 1800 Little Bear Loop. My wife is Renee. I have been fully sworn in. Is that it?
State your case, please.
All right. We built our house 2008. We're going to do the patio and all that stuff way back then, but as you know, the market kind of crashed and every home in our house, in our area basically declined by 30, 40, 50%. Production builders came in and basically kind of reduced our value by $150,000 to $200,000. So we kind of waited and held up before we added any more money to the house. So that's the reason we're going something a little more luxury type with the pergola, with the fire pit and the other portion of that on the other door. We're going to utilize the entire back part of the house. And the pergola, I understand, is encroaching into the setback, and it's 35 feet. There is nothing back there but the golf course. And there are neighbors on either side, but again, we're not extending past that setback at all. We're just taking it back further towards the golf course, which is rough. And the only thing we're really encroaching on is probably our health if people hit a ball and hit us in the head. So I mean, it's kind of, to me, it's a very good improvement to the property, to the actual golf course itself, and to the neighborhood, because the pergola does add a lot of value to a house and to the neighborhood aesthetics. Obviously, I could build one without doing footers, but I prefer to save some money, sink the hole, and put it in that way. And Jacob's not here tonight. He had an incident with his son, so he couldn't make it. So this is like last minute.
So is the house actually built on the 35-foot easement line?
We built the
Basically.
house, we pushed the limit, and I didn't realize at that point that, easement, whatever, but, we designed that with Trueberry it's a custom house, and we designed it to fit into that space the way it's designed, and we have a 3-car garage that extends all the way to each side. We've utilized the space as much as we could.
I'm very familiar with the situation that you encountered. I also did a custom build by Silvestri in Little Bear.
You look familiar.
Yeah, I was the president of the HOA.
That's right.
I don't live there anymore, so I don't have to recuse myself.
Speaking of that, I lived there,
Yes,
but it's over 300 feet from.
and you're in the condos and not in the single family, so you don't have to recuse yourself.
Just so everybody knows, that's what's happening.
Yeah, there's no money under the table right now.
That's for sure. And there won't be. I also put a pergola in mine. I lived right off Little Bear Loop as well, and it does make a big difference as far as not only the aesthetics, but just live. And I didn't have to worry about golf balls hitting my house, but they certainly the geese attacked and I saw people diving out in the ponds and stuff. Do you plan on having an open pergola, or are you going to put a roofing or polycarbonate or something on top?
No, we're going to leave it open. I don't want to cover anything just because don't think it's necessary. It's Ohio. It's like there's 3 days good in the year, so it's basically going to be used as just basically a pergola. Kind of define the space mostly, give us a little bit of shade, maybe hang some not blinds, but the outdoor type of screens that you can push up or down.
Right.
That's pretty much it. We're not doing anything covered or enclosed at all.
Have you requested from your neighbors or the HOA approval, or
Got it yesterday,
you got
the approval,
from,
the HOA.
okay. What about from your neighbors?
No neighbors that approve.
Well, there'd be neighbors on both sides. May have input.
I didn't know I had to go talk to them.
No, you don't. It's
You
just,
don't.
it's,
Oh, okay.
it's just a
We,
question.
we sent out notices to them.
They're
We,
kind of
we received a few phone calls and none of them had any issues with it. They were just asked what it was. We told them, we explained what it was, and some of them we should provided the plans to, and they said they had no issues with it.
Well, it looks like the house next door already has
something.
a patio of some sort, and a retaining wall or whatever that goes around it.
Yeah, the way I understand it is we wouldn't even have to have an exemption or variance if we didn't sink footer holes. So that's for the pergola only.
The concrete footer, if you just dig holes, you put concrete in those holes for your posts, you wouldn't, but since you're putting a concrete footer in, of the way you explained it through designs, then you should do it.
Yeah, I thought you're just putting in post hole fitter.
Yeah, we're not doing
Correct.
footer. We're not doing.
He's not doing
A
a
footer.
complete 32-inch or whatever
Okay. Thought it was too
foundation footing.
No, it's strictly just to keep the pergola from blowing away.
Yeah, well, it helps for almost anything.
Yeah.
Concrete likes to move on the ground and the water. It would definitely be worth your trouble.
Yeah, I agree. And it was much more expensive to put the posts up and then try to firm those up with stone around them.
And even if you were going to, do more, but your patio is going to be like a block laid patio.
Yeah. The surface, the stepping surface is going to be cut stone, so it's going to be not the paver type, but more big
Stacked.
slabs. Yeah. And then the walls, took away the seating area, but the walls and so forth will just be more of the paver. The middle part's going to be crushed gravel, so I'm going to keep that a little natural with the fire pit in the middle. Then the other side by our other door is going to have more of that cut stone on for the base.
Looks nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Any other questions from the board, Ms. Sindar?
No, I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Please do.
I make a motion to approve the variance case PA-21-17, requesting the variance for to allow for a pergola to encroach 14 feet and 9 inches into the 35 feet rear area.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Ms. Sundar to approve variance case VA-21-17 to allow the structure to encroach into the rear yard setback 14 feet 9 inches. Second by Mr. Miller. Those voting, Mr. Oster,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
Mr. Trevs,
Yes.
Ms. Sundar.
Yes.
Motion carries. Enjoy.
Cool. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Happy night.
Yeah, have a good Christmas.
Next item is the calendar.
Next time would be minutes.
Say,
Be the October 14th minutes.
Okay. I read through them quickly and I did not see any errors.
Likewise, I haven't had no corrections. I think I
What?
sent that to you.
Yeah, and he is on his game.
Yeah, you had none?
He's on his game.
Doesn't mean there aren't some in there, but
If there's no,
Staff has a couple comments.
okay.
On the variance case VA-21-13, line 26, that it should be outlawed.
Yeah.
This is a meeting that I was not present at, so I was given these. Line 108 on page 2, it says me, Wimpkin, instead of Mr. Wimpkin.
8.
The 108, page 2, there should be Mr.
Oh,
I don't have a
Line
108. on
yeah,
there.
108.
In the second case,
Second page.
It starts out as
VA-21-13.
Really? No, it's on that one right there. That
2113.
That's
Yeah, flip that over to the second page. 108.
okay. Thank you.
And then we had one
On 26, what was the correction?
There is
Outline?
nothing,
There is no correction.
nothing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then on the VA-CU-21-14, there was no corrections. We just had the one on the second meeting. Or on the second hearing.
Mr. Travis Giuliani will get demoted for not picking up that item on line 108.
I can make a motion to approve the Board of Zoning Appeals minutes, October 14, 2021 minutes,
As amended.
as amended.
I'll second.
Do we need to make a motion now?
No, let's do it for the 14th, yeah. Motion made to approve the October 14th minutes as amended by Mr. Shipley, seconded by Mr. Travis. Let's vote, Mr. Oster,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
Mr. Travis,
Yes.
Ms. Sandar.
Yes.
Now we're doing another one.
Now we're on the calendar.
We got 2 of these calendars.
We got one in our packet.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2022 Orange Township Board of Zoning Appeals schedule.
A second.
Motion made by Mr. Miller to approve the 2022 BZA calendar, seconded by Ms. Sandar. Mr. Oster,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
Mr. Travis,
Yes.
Ms. Sandar.
Yes.
That concludes our business. Meeting adjourned. And I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas, and let us not all forget the true meaning of Christmas.
Wishing you the same.
I would like to make a motion to quit using colored ink on these right here. Just leave them black.
Orange and the green.
Oh,